Hello friends, welcome back to a series of lecture. This is the 30th lecture of this series of Indian Evidence Act. So in the previous lecture we had seen section 112. So two points more to see that अगर इसमें दिया टाइम पीरियड 280 डेज, अगर बच्चा 290 डेज में होता है then whether it would be conclusive proof. Then it would not be conclusive proof because it is clearly written 280 days. But हाँ उसकी एविडेंस वैल्यू जरूर रहेगी, अदर एविडेंस वैल्यू. अब सिमिलरली अगर वाइफ कंसीव द चाइल्ड विद इन द जुडिशियल सेपरेशन, तो क्या बच्चा फॉर चाइल्ड इट इज कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ, क्या उस पर 112 लगेगा? द आंसर इज यस, क्योंकि इट इज क्लियरली रिटन दैट चाइल्ड वाज बोर्न ड्यूरिंग द कंटिन्यूएंस ऑफ द वैलिड मैरिज. अब जुडिशियल सेपरेशन इज आल्सो द कंटिन्यूएंस ऑफ द मैरिज ओनली, इट इज नॉट द that divorce is held or the dissolution is done. हाँ ये अगर प्रूव कर दे हस्बैंड दैट देयर इज नो एक्सेस with the wife in the judicial separation, because in the judicial separation you can always get into the sexual intercourse with the wife, there is no prohibition. और अगर जुडिशियल सेपरेशन के दौरान आपने सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स कर लिया था, जुडिशियल सेपरेशन की डिग्री वापस हो जाएगी और डिवोर्स भी नहीं मिलेगा. सो ये आप पढ़ेंगे सेक्शन 1A ऑफ हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट. अब जुडिशियल separation में sexual intercourse is not prohibited. The law is that you are separated, so you are not bound to have the sexual intercourse. But with their consent they can always get into the sexual intercourse. लेकिन उससे काम नहीं चलेगा. लेकिन आप अगर ये प्रूव कर दो while going into the judicial separation, and these are the facts by which I prove that I do not have the access to the lady at that time when the judicial separation was there, तब आपको पैटर्निटी नहीं मिलेगी. अदरवाइज you will give the paternity, get the paternity. Now let's see section 4. अब इसमें conclusive proof देख लो पहले. When one fact is declared by this act to be conclusive proof of another, the court shall on proof of the one fact regard the other as proved and shall not allow evidence to be given for the purpose of disproving it. So they are saying when one fact is declared by this act to be conclusive proof of another. Now you see, fact 1 is declared to be conclusive proof of fact 2. When this fact 1 is proved, then fact 2 is conclusively proved. अब उस वाले एग्जाम्पल में क्या था सेक्शन 112 में, that the child born within the continuance of the marriage or within the 280 days of the dissolution of the marriage. So if that fact is proved, then that fact is conclusive proof of what? Legitimate paternity. हाँ उसके अंदर में एक बात जरूर है, that father may prove that he is not having access at the time when the mother conceived the child. तो वो तो है ही है, उसको देखना पड़ेगा. बट उसको अगर हटाकर देखो तो अदरवाइज मेन फैक्ट क्या है, that if the child was born to the mother out of a lawful wedding, if he was born to the mother during the continuance of the marriage or within the 280 days of the dissolution of the marriage, then the marriage is legal marriage. This condition is there. So if the child is born to the mother during the continuance of the marriage or within the 280 days of the dissolution of the marriage, then the other fact is legitimate paternity, and that is conclusively proved. And then they are saying कि एक बार अगर conclusive proof हो गया, then the court shall on the proof of one fact regard the other as proved and shall not allow evidence to be given for the purpose of disproving it. And that is where it is declared that once such conclusive proof is proved, then it is irrebuttable. तो उसका आप रिबर्टल नहीं कर सकते. तो इसी प्रकार सेक्शन 112 में भी रिबर्टल अलाउड नहीं है. इट इज वेयर बिफोर द प्रूविंग ऑफ द कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ के पहले हस्बैंड को मौका दिया जाएगा. अ चांस इज गिवन टू द हस्बैंड बिफोर द कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ before raising the conclusive proof, the respondent will be given an opportunity to prove that he did not have an access. But after that opportunity given to him and he is not able to prove that fact, then the conclusive proof is raised. And once the conclusive proof is raised, after it, rebuttal is not possible. तो आप ये नहीं कह सकते सेक्शन 112 में that it is rebuttable because husband can prove the lack of access. Lack of access वो पहले प्रूफ करेगा. अगर वो प्रूफ कर देता है तो प्रिजम्पशन नहीं होगा. प्रूफ नहीं कर पाता तो प्रिजम्पशन हो जाएगा. प्रूफ कर देता है तो प्रिजम्पशन नहीं होगा. और अगर प्रूफ नहीं कर पाता तो प्रिजम्पशन हो जाएगा. And once the presumption is done, then afterwards the rebuttal is not there. But only exception now we have after the Bandwire case is that through the DNA test, the rebuttal is possible in the cases of 112. That is only one exception we have. So that is only exception we have because you see this is the definition given in the Bear Act section 4 और इसके बेसिस पर रिबर्टल किसी भी हालत में पॉसिबल नहीं था. तो पहले तो हम यही मानकर चलते थे, लेकिन आफ्टर दिस जजमेंट you have got one exception that DNA test can rebut the conclusive proof of legitimate paternity. Otherwise, it is not rebuttable. And that is where we say the conclusive proof is irrebuttable if once proved, and after that you cannot rebut that excepting that of DNA testing. Now, अब DNA testing तो अलाउ करना पड़ेगा. अब मान लो कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ ले लिया कोर्ट ने और बाद में फादर ने अप्लाई किया दैट आई विल सफर हार्डशिप एंड ऑल दैट, देन द कोर्ट विल अलाउ आफ्टर दिस जजमेंट, द कोर्ट विल अलाउ. अदरवाइज इट कैन नॉट अलाउ, बट इस जजमेंट के बाद द कोर्ट विल अलाउ. और अब आप ये भी लिख लो कौन कौन सा सेक्शन कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ है. एक तो सेक्शन 41 है, 112 है और 113 है. These are the three sections where the conclusive proof is provided for. Section 41, 112 and 113. इन तीन sections में आपका conclusive proof मिलेगा. Now after that you will please shift over may presume and shall presume. So whenever it is provided, whenever it is proved by this act that court may presume a fact, whenever it is proved by this act that court may presume a fact. अब यहाँ पर लिखा है the court may. For example, I tell you section 113A, section 114, they are using the word the court may presume a fact. अब may presume मतलब क्या? It is not mandatory for the court to presume. The court may or may not presume. Whenever it is proved by this act that court may presume a fact, it may either regard such fact as proved unless and until it is disproved or may call for proof of it. तो अगर आप बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ोगे तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा that if the court is told that it may presume the fact, तो या तो कोर्ट उस फैक्ट को प्रिज्यूम कर सकता है, उसको प्रूव्ड मान सकता है, और या फिर कोर्ट उसको प्रूव्ड ना मानकर पार्टी से कह सकता है कि तुम प्रूव करो. मीन्स व्हाट? द कोर्ट मे और मे नॉट प्रिज्यूम. एंड इफ द कोर्ट प्रिज्यूम द फैक्ट, then the court is going to allow any evidence for rebuttal, because may presume and shall presume both are rebuttable presumptions. तो फिर से पकड़ो अगर आप whenever it is proved by this act that court may presume a fact, it may either regard such fact as proved unless and until it is disproved. What do you mean by unless and until it is disproved? Means this is rebuttable. अगर आप may presume करते हो then that presumption is not a conclusive proof. It can be rebutted by the other party. तो इसमें दो बातें हैं. एक तो अगर आप चाहो तो प्रिज्यूम करो या ना करो, यू मे प्रिज्यूम और मे नॉट प्रिज्यूम. लेकिन अगर आपने एक बार प्रिज्यूम कर लिया देन इट विल बी रिवर्टेबल। सो इसमें दो चीज़ें हैं, या तो आप प्रिज्यूम करो या आपकी मर्जी है, डिस्क्रिशन है कि आप ना करो प्रिज्यूम। लेकिन अगर आपने प्रिज्यूम कर लिया देन इट इज़ नॉट नॉन रिवर्टेबल, it is revertible. So that is what they are saying, unless it is disproved. By the word they are saying unless and until it is disproved. And this is called, may presume तो आप हमेशा बोलते हो, this is called presumptio huminus. Presumptio huminus. Presumptio huminis. Presumptio huminus. It means the discretion of the court. Presumptuous means, presumptio means that is the discretion of the court. It is the human mind of the court whether it will presume or not to presume. Presumptio huminis means it is the discretion of the court whether to presume or not to presume. में लिखा है, it means ये कोर्ट का डिस्क्रिशन है कि वो प्रिज्यूम करेगा कि नहीं करेगा. That is what it is called, presumptio huminis. अब दूसरा पॉइंट इसमें, कोर्ट इज फ्री टू प्रिज्यूम और नॉट टू प्रिज्यूम. अब थर्ड पॉइंट इसमें, देयर आर सम सेक्शंस वेयर द मे प्रिज्यूम इज प्रोवाइडेड. मे प्रिज्यूम हैज रिटन. सम सेक्शंस आर वेयर द मे प्रिज्यूम इज प्रोवाइडेड. राइट डाउन सम सेक्शंस. 86, 87, 88, 88A कैपिटल ए, 90, 90 capital A, 107, 108, 113A, 114. So these are some sections related to may presume. अब shall presume आप देख लो. So whenever shall presume, whenever it is directed by this act that the court shall presume a fact. Whenever it is directed by this act that the court shall presume a fact, it shall regard such fact as proved. They are saying it shall regard means what? The court is bound to presume. यहाँ पर भी shall presume होगा. It shall regard such fact as proved means what? The court is bound to presume. The court is bound to presume. यहाँ भी shall presume होगा. It shall regard such fact as proved means what? The court is bound to presume. तो वहाँ पर कोर्ट का डिस्क्रिशन नहीं होगा. It shall regard such fact as proved unless and until it is disproved. अब it is also revertible, but the difference between may and shall is what? In the may presume, the court is having the discretion to may presume or not to presume, and in shall presume, the court has to presume, but any of this case it is revertible. may में भी revertible है और shall में भी revertible है, लेकिन may में कोर्ट फ्री है प्रिज्यूम करने के लिए और shall में कोर्ट इज बाउंड टू प्रिज्यूम. और इसको आप बोलते हैं presumptio juris, दैट इज प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ लॉ. और ये जो पहले वाला था presumptio huminus, इसको प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ फैक्ट भी बोलते हैं और इसको हम प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ लॉ बोलते हैं. दिस इज प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ फैक्ट एंड दिस इज प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ लॉ. सो मे प्रिज्यूम इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड द प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ फैक्ट, जबकि shall presume इज कॉल्ड प्रिजम्पशन ऑफ लॉ और presumptio juris. अब एक बात याद रखिएगा आप कि कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ भी shall presume जैसा ही है. कंक्लूसिव प्रूफ में भी कोर्ट इज बाउंड टू प्रिज्यूम, दैट इज ऑल्सो presumptio juris. But the difference is, in the conclusive proof you cannot rebut, and here you can rebut. So in shall presume, here the court is bound to presume and it is also rebuttable. और पहले वाले में भी it was, may presume में भी it was rebuttable. लेकिन conclusive proof में rebuttable नहीं होगा. Conclusive proof में ये दोनों पॉइंट्स लागू होंगे. It is presumptio juris, that is presumption of law, and also the court is bound to presume. But the difference is, in conclusive proof it is irrebuttable, but here it is rebuttable. Conclusive proof में it is irrebuttable and shall presume में and may presume में it is rebuttable. अब shall presume में कुछ sections लिख लीजिए. 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 85 capital A, 85 capital B, 85 capital C, 113 capital B, 114 capital A. So these are some sections on cell presumed. और conclusive proof में ये तीन ही है, 112, 113 और 41. So that's it for this topic and this lecture also. In next lecture we would continue with the expert evidences, then in which we would see audio video recording. We also see the postmortem or inquest का difference, the difference between the postmortem and the inquest report, and if there is conflict between them two, then which one is admissible, which one is reliable. और कुछ expert evidences हैं, उनकी reliability check करना, whether they are reliable or not. So all these we would see in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture.